Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the most effective and realistic ways to move forward with cleaning and decluttering when we are stuck. When we know what needs to be done, but we feel completely blocked or we feel completely incapable of actually making it happen due to something that is commonly referred to as depression inertia. When we experience this, even tasks that are seemingly simple can feel incredibly difficult for us due to the combined effects of low motivation, intense negative emotions, and draining mental fatigue. And believe it or not, this feeling of being stuck is actually really common, especially when we're dealing with clinical depression. But it can also arise from other challenges like chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, and navigating significant life changes. But regardless of what has caused it, as you've probably already noticed, it can make even the idea of cleaning and decluttering feel impossible. So if this is something that sounds familiar to you, I want to talk about a strategy that can help you feel like you can move forward again and regain control of your home. Now, firstly, I have to say that the key to overcoming this and making progress in this area lies in us acknowledging our struggle and then utilizing methods that work with our current mental state instead of against it. This is so important to remember because depression inertia often causes a vicious cycle of negative emotions. We know all the things that need to be done, but even just the thought of tackling them feels overwhelming because we have no motivation. And of course, this usually leads to feelings of guilt, shame, and distress, which further deplete our motivation, making it even harder for us to get started and just perpetuating the cycle. So the question here is, how do we break free of this exhausting and horrible loop? Well, I have found that one of the most helpful things that we can do is to start to externalize our mental burden. We need to stop trying to carry around our entire to-do list in our head and just continuously ruminating over it, because that is completely exhausting and overwhelming and makes us feel absolutely paralyzed. So this time we want to do something different. We're going to grab a pen and a piece of paper, and we are going to start by writing down all the things that are swirling around in our head that have to do with cleaning and decluttering. We are going to list out all the things that we feel need to get done. We want to get them out of our head and onto the page. And if doing that feels overwhelming, we can just stick to one room or even just one section inside of one room. The goal is to gain a visual representation of the tasks at hand, because otherwise in our mind, these tasks are going to seem endless. The simple act of externalizing our list is surprisingly relieving because it helps us make a mental shift from overthinking to actually taking action. When we simply dwell on all of these things that we need to get done without actually getting started on them, all it does is pull us even further into a depressed state and make us feel even more anxious and overwhelmed, because we start to question our ability to even accomplish these things. Believe it or not, by writing these things down, we're not just creating a list, we are starting to actively take control of the situation, which is huge, because in more cases than not, one of the things that brings us the most distress is the feeling that we're not in control of our life. So this really is a big deal, but of course we don't want to stop there. We want to actually take a first step. So let's talk about how we can do this. We're going to begin by taking out that long list of all the things that we want to accomplish in our home and selecting one small manageable task just to get started with. And it does not even have to be the most important thing. It can be anything. We can even pick something at random if that feels less daunting. But pick something, and once you've decided on whatever it is, we're going to take that one singular task and we are going to divide it all up into little baby steps. We want to list out a few specific actions that we could take to help us accomplish whatever it is that we want to work on. But again, we do want to make sure that these are all chopped up into small, manageable tasks that we feel like we can actually accomplish. So for example, if the big task that we want to accomplish is cleaning the kitchen counter, we can start by listing out some little subtasks like clearing away the dirty dishes or throwing away any trash that we can find or wiping down the surface. And then the goal is to try to tackle just one or two of these small achievable actions. Do not try to do everything at once or tell yourself that you need to accomplish the entire task right now, because you do not. And even if the only thing that you accomplish is the easiest thing on the list, that is perfectly fine, because that is something. That is better than nothing. And if we take that first step, that's the most important thing, because if we can do that, we will gain momentum. Starting small is actually great because it allows us to experience the satisfaction of accomplishment without getting overwhelmed. And taking that first step is crucial because it really does help us to overcome depression inertia, because it proves to us that we can still make progress even when we're experiencing negative emotions, or even when we have zero motivation. Sometimes even the tiniest win can be the spark that changes everything. This little thing could end up being what gives us the motivation to start chipping away at bigger projects and gradually reclaiming our space. And it's important to remember that we don't have to go through this alone. If we're struggling with depression inertia or any of the underlying conditions that might be contributing to it, seeking professional help can be incredibly beneficial. Simply put, our mental health needs to be a top priority. So if we feel like we're struggling in that area, we do need to reach out for support. Also, if you need further support on your decluttering and cleaning journey, I have a huge playlist that I will link in the description box below. You can go ahead and check that out. And as always, I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this topic, so feel free to leave them down below. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and I will see you very soon.